Hello from my radio desk here on Molokai, Hawaii. I decided to do one more video in the Retekess V115 series, and this one is going to just show some features and even lack thereof, I guess, on the radio. I'm using I got it, just got the whip antenna, but I do have alligator clip with the K180 WLA antenna hooked onto it. So we get a pretty good reception on it. I just did a video on that. If you saw that one came out just before this one. And I am going to go through and show you how to kind of move around in the with the radio with the keys that you have. One thing I did learn since the last video is that it does this button here, this forward button with the pause on it, will be an on and off to the volume. So, which is kind of convenient doing these videos right now. So that is kind of nice that you can just hit that volume and turn it on and turn it off. Because otherwise, the only other volume control is the up and down right here. There's no volume wheel. And I think the biggest drawback on this one is that there's no tuning wheel at all. So you can directly input a frequency. And oops, wrong one. So 1 0. Okay. It came in on 715 also, but this is China News Radio, and so you can definitely do it that way. And then you can, there's going to be a search function, and I'll run through that when I'll show you that it's down here, and it'll actually save it'll stop on a station when it picks up something, and it'll stop there, and then you can continue on if you want, and it'll save it. And then you can go through that list that it comes up with and delete those out of there. But I'll this next feature is one that's halfway decent, because it's going to save you some time if you don't know your exact frequency. Also, the shortwave button, the SW button, if you hit that one, oops, it's going to flip through the bands. So if you just want to scan, one of the bands, you can at least start over there. And then it goes through at the start here. So this is actually pretty nice, because otherwise, if you're, and you can go, up and down, with these, but that's the volume, by hitting that. But it's pretty much just by scanning. So it does make it a little bit inconvenient. But at least you can go through the bands, and then to scan, all you got to do is hit the what is it? It's the double play button to the end. It's a long press. And then you just wait for something to come open. Actually, I'm better off if I go to the next one. There we go. I'll probably do better here, I believe. Wasn't coming in very well. There was something ready to start, but then it was gone. And this is Radio New Zealand International. Now, the one thing I really don't like about scans, and a lot of radios do them differently, just for instance, my the C crane. When I use the scan on that, I can just scan a certain band, and it'll stop on it, but it doesn't create this list or anything. Of course, and if it stops on it, I can enter it into a saved frequency if I want. That one seems to work a little bit. I guess maybe I'm just used to it. Now, the my Grundig Satellite 800. That only does a scan on anything saved in the memory. So I can't just go to the frequency band or go to shortwave and do a scan on it. It won't do it. It only scans the frequency stored in the memory. Which is actually fine for me because mostly I'm sitting here and I'm turning the dial. And that's, I think, a lot of the Series DXs, when you're trying to pick up those faint signals and faint frequencies and stations, that's mostly what you're doing. Even on the Crane, the nice thing about it, it does have the tuning wheel. If you press it in, it'll go. It'll be a slow turn. It'll be a fine tune, they call it. I believe that's by 1 kilohertz, and the other ones are. The other turns are by 5, and that actually has a clicking as you're turning that wheel, which is kind of nice on the small portable unit. I really do like that. You have no clicking or anything on that dial on the Grundig, but again, it's a totally different setup, and it's more of a desktop unit. This one here, for what it is, I mean, it works fine. And if you get into a new area where you don't know what you're going to pick up, it's really nice to scan. And then if you do know some frequencies, that you can key them in, so that works also. So all in all, it's not too bad. I really wish it did have a tuning wheel, though. Let's continue on a little bit here, and we'll go a little bit further on the scan. Got quite a few China radios, and there's even Voice of Korea in here too. So here's one of the other things I don't like about a scan, and I don't know how it differentiates picking up a signal. Maybe it goes by decibels or whatever, but it seems to pick up if there's a little more noise or a little more interference, it'll seem to stop, and it'll, so it'll on this one it'll record that frequency, and there's really nothing there, and that's why they make deleting it pretty easy, I guess. So scanning, and even scanning on my Crane, is the same way. It'll pick up a lot of false pickups. It'll stop on a bunch of false pickups, so then you have to continue on. It's really only a minor annoyance, and it's just something that I never really got used to. But again, I really only scan now when I go to a different area, and I just want to see what the radio will pick up, and that'll get me started anyways. But for scans, again, this one's working just as good as any other scan that I had. There's a few stations that are pretty close here. There are a couple of China Internationals. It is picking up and stopping on some faint ones too, so it's doing a good job in that respect, where if you had some headphones on, you can distinguish things. Oops. That's where that stopped. And that's WWVH. Continue on with this one. China radio, it's doing English right now. And that's NHK Japan. Radio New Zealand was just on here at 11,725, but that switched over to 9,700 a little bit ago here. Looks like a false one. Okay, so I'm going to stop this one here. So I'm going to go just go over a couple of the features that it's kind of, I wish it had, but you do have to take into account the price point. That's the big thing. But a lot of low-end, low price point radios do still have a tuning wheel on the side. That's one thing I definitely wish this had. I wish it had the tuning wheel. I also would have liked instead of using the alligator clip, I would have liked the external antenna jack. That just makes things a little bit easier when you have an antenna to be able to plug it in, and you don't have to worry about the alligator clip as much. Not that much of an inconvenience, but it definitely would be a plus. All these things I know. Again, I got this radio for a little over $16. So there's not really a lot to complain about with that. And the way they have this set up, and the keys are multifunction, but you'll end up getting used to it after a while. A couple sittings, you'll get used to it, and you'll be able to get through it and be able to work the bands that work in your area the best and the quickest. You'll get it down really quick. It does have the headphone jack, which is really nice, and a line-in jack. It does have a slot for a card because it does have the very odd feature of being able to record. It actually records your voice, and you can record off the radio. So kind of a really neat feature to be able to put that in there and be able to record. You could probably use that if you're making videos or uploading and sharing files with people, and friends. So it's definitely a different feature. This is the only radio that I know that has that, but I'm sure there are others out there. I'm talking about the cheaper radios here. I've got the old Radio Shack DX394 that had an input and output on it, so you can hook up a tape player or whatever back in the day. So there's been variations with that over the years. So all in all, this is not the quirkiest of layouts, and being able to use these multifunction buttons, and you will get used to it pretty quick. All in all, it's not bad for $16. So that's one thing to keep in mind is the price point and what this has for features. So you're going to have to compare them. I'm going to be doing one more video still, final thoughts on it, and kind of run through and maybe compare it to a couple other radios that are out there. But so far, with the features, I think you're going to be satisfied with how it works. But there's a little bit of a learning curve, but you'll be able to get used to it. All right, that's it from our radio desk here on Molokai, Hawaii. Aloha.